All right, today we're talking with Air Force veteran Dana Forrester, who's president and COO of JDog Carpet Cleaning. As an Air Force veteran, Dana guides veteran and military family franchisees through business operations, long-term planning, and is responsible for identifying and recruiting potential candidates for the JDog franchisee businesses. She's worn many hats through the JDog Brands organization, including as the director of operations of JDog Junk Removal and Hauling. So, Dana, welcome to the show. Really looking forward to talking about I know JDog has expanded a lot over the last few years, kind of been seeing what's going on with what you guys are doing and rapidly growing and a lot of success. So, really looking forward to talking about that. Before we do that, can you take us back and tell us what you did in the Air Force?
Sure. So I spent 4 years in the Air Force as a munitions systems specialist. And for those in the know, that's called an ammo troop. So I built bombs and missiles.
Awesome. Yeah. And I think you get a picture of you like building maybe a 500 pounder or something. I don't remember where I saw that picture. Might have been on social media or something. So it's pretty cool. So how many years were you in the Air Force?
I was only in for 4. There's no illustrious military career here, but yet I'm still very proud.
So talk about your transition out of the Air Force and ultimately how you ended up arriving at JDog.
Sure. So I can tell you that my experience exiting the military was not a great one. I was really looking forward to getting a career started in the area that I trained in. And in the Philadelphia area, we have a few things available to us. And I visited them all: McDonnell Douglas, Raytheon, Boeing. I went to all of them. I was not able to secure any type of position in the munitions field at all. Not a huge surprise, but I thought I was hopeful. The big shocker that I had was I was seriously underemployed. And I hear that here at JDog time and time again. As a matter of fact, it's most veterans who come through here say that exactly. I led troops into battle, and I can't get a job, that kind of thing all the time. And that's what I experienced, and only being in for 4 years. But when you're in for 20, and a Marine gunny sergeant comes in and he says, how horrible his transition has been, and he can't even get a job driving a forklift for $12 an hour. That's heartbreaking. So here, sitting in this seat that I am today, we have the opportunity to help veterans start their own businesses that they can really be proud of and make something for their families. So it's really quite wonderful.
That's awesome. I don't know how long ago it was. It was several years ago. I've been doing this podcast almost 7 years. And so several years ago, more towards the beginning of this podcast, I believe I was supposed to interview Jerry Flanagan, who started JDog Junk Removal. We must have had a time zone mix up because I was doing an interview like at noon and he starts calling me and I couldn't answer it because I was already doing another interview. So he must have thought we must have been off by an hour. And then I never was able to reconnect with him and get him back on the show. So I'm glad I finally got somebody from JDog on the show. So it's cool. So talk about when you started at JDog, you're actually working, you're actually part of the operations of JDog Junk Removal. And now you guys are expanding into other brands under the JDog brand.
Right, that's correct. So I started early in 2016. And at that time, we weren't JDog brands yet. We were just JDog Junk Removal and Hauling. Mm-hmm. So I worked corporate office, of course, in Berwyn, Pennsylvania. And at that time, we had 30 franchises, which is pretty significant, for a startup company. But now we have over 230.
It's awesome.
Wonderful. So I started there in the operations department and absolutely loved it. You get to know everybody from around the country and who they are, who their spouse is, who their kids are, how their business is going. We really become a family here at JDog. And the cool thing is everybody talks with each other, right? The franchisees speak with each other. I speak with all of the franchisees. Everybody in the headquarters office speaks with everybody. We know each other on a personal level. We get together at the conferences. They come in for trainings, and it really, truly, it feels like the military again.
Mm-hmm.
That brotherhood that you can't find in the corporate world.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, one the cool concept I like about JDog from an entrepreneurial perspective. We talk about this on the show all the time, but people get so hung up on the good idea as far as your business idea when really it doesn't matter how good the idea is. If you don't execute properly, it's not going to matter how great the idea is. So execution is so much more important than the idea itself. And junk removal, carpet cleaning, and any of the other number of brands you guys have out there, they're nothing new really. I mean, that kind of stuff's been going on for, forever, but you guys have figured out how to properly execute and properly brand what you guys do. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So Jerry Flanagan and Tracy Flanagan, the founders of JDog, started this company in 2011. So we're at our anniversary date right now.
Yeah, 10 years. That's great.
They figured out what works. And him and Tracy have really bottled the lightning, is what we call it. So what we're able to give out to the franchisees who come in here is literally a business in a box. And so many tools in that toolbox that they just need to figure out what works for them. They unpack the box and they can be successful. So we like to tell people you're never in business by yourself, right? You're in business for yourself, but never by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So we stand behind them, whether it be for social media and marketing, for their back office information. So we're able to get them off the ground very quickly, but you're still an entrepreneur. You are still launching your own business. You have the autonomy to run your business the way that you need to. You just need to support the JDog name and the image. And you have all of us here at the headquarters office to help make you successful.
That's awesome. Well, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, back talking with Air Force veteran Dana Forrester, who's president and COO of JDog Carpet Cleaning. So, Dana, before the break, we were just getting started with the whole JDog thing. I want to start off with another question for you. One thing that everybody always wants to know about if they're looking at buying a franchise or acquiring a franchise is, what's it cost to get into a JDog franchise?
So depending on which franchise you're buying, junk removal franchise is $35,000 and carpet cleaning is $25,000. And that's just the franchise, right?
Okay.
So you would need, to purchase a vehicle if you didn't already have one for junk, but purchase a carpet cleaning van for the carpet cleaning side. But all in all, the very cool thing about JDog, what sets us apart from every other franchise across the nation, is our royalty structure. So instead of, like everybody else, they charge you a percentage, right? So the more money you make, the more you kick up to the corporate office.
Mm-hmm.
Not with JDog. What we do is a flat royalty structure. So the more money you make, the more money you keep. And that's exactly how we want it. And it will always stay that way. We have 14 people here in the headquarters office for support, and we don't really need to grow very much anymore. I think we've hit the sweet spot with how we manage and operate things.
Mm-hmm.
And we are effectively doing that for all of these franchises across the nation with just that staff. So the flat royalty structure is so beneficial to the veterans signing on that, they're just making more money and they get to keep it.
That's awesome. So somebody that may have never done a franchise, a lot of us have heard of them and kind of know what they are. Explain some of the benefits of somebody getting out of the military or somebody who's never really started a business on their own. What are some of the benefits of going into a franchise, especially a veteran-owned franchise like JDog, versus just going out on their own?
Yeah, so it's very scary going out on your own, whether you're starting a franchise or doing it all on your own. But one thing that really makes the difference is you have this wealth of knowledge here at the headquarters office, as well as the 230 other franchises across the nation who have been there, done that, right? It's still your own business. You're still running and operating everything, but we're here to help you along the way with everything. every portion of your business. Or if you're more of the mindset where you just want to kind of be hands off and be there when you need us, we can operate like that too. It really is dependent upon the person who comes in and purchases.
Yeah. And so JDog's been at it for 10 years now. And how many franchises did you have just a few years ago versus how much growth you've had just recently?
Right. Well, I started in February of 2016. We had 30 franchises in that month.
30? Okay.
Now we have over 230, which, I mean, the percentage there is insane as far as business growth is. I mean, it's really fantastic. People love the brand. They're getting behind it. And, you know, we're really going to conquer the country. We are going to be in every zip code across the nation in 5 years' time.
Dang, that's awesome. That's the goal. That's the plan. Every zip code.
And I have every confidence that that's what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm. Is it fairly common for some of your franchisees to, after they get one zip code going really well, to buy another one?
Absolutely. That is more frequent than not.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, all of our territories are comprised of zip codes and they're all clustered together. And when they get there and they say, oh, I wish I owned this neighboring territory, right? They'll grow into that. And that is very, very, very common.
Uh-huh. That's awesome. And so you have the initial franchise fee, and then you've basically got a vehicle that you have to buy. Do a lot of folks just start with one vehicle right out of the gate?
Yeah. So, you know, our philosophy really is to start small, right? You don't have to go into huge debt to start this business. You know, you need to start making money before you spend money.
Mm-hmm.
So we want you to start with one vehicle. If it's junk, then you need a truck and a trailer. If it's carpet cleaning, you need the carpet cleaning van, right? And then let's schedule you out as soon as you become busy. Your schedule is packed for the next 2 weeks. Let's look at time, you know, it's time to grow.
Mm-hmm.
So we're there to do some goal setting and some reality checks sometimes and helping them along the way. Where if you were just a wonderful regular entrepreneur, you would have to make all of these decisions all on your own. Probably not so sure when you should do that, but we've got the manpower and the know-how to do that and how to guide everybody through it.
Yeah, I'm curious. I've been doing this show for, like I said, almost 7 years. We talked a lot about veteran and military entrepreneurship as working at the headquarters of the franchise. Typically, and you're talking to the veteran that's getting out, or the military spouse that wants to do this. What kind of blind spots do you typically see in the military community where they think they've got it figured out and they're motivated and they're going to jump into it? What are the typical blind spots that you see?
So on a whole, I would say that the blind spots are, you know, the money. You know, where am I going to get the money? Am I going to wipe out my savings account? Am I going to do it all on a loan? You know, how do I do this? And some people, you know, at some point, that is enough to freeze them up completely.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know what to do. So yet again, you know, our staff is there to walk them along the path. You know, we can help you make that decision.
And so the $35,000 franchise fees for JDog junk removal and the $25,000 for the carpet cleaning, what kind of options are available? That seems like a lot of money to most military folks, especially if they're just getting out of the military and they might not even have their first job, but they're considering franchising as an option. What kind of financing or loans are available to them, and how does that typically work?
So the SBA is really fantastic for loans. We are registered with the SBA through both businesses. And then you can get a regular business loan as well. And most people do go with a loan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the easy way to get into your business without wiping out your savings and, you know, still protecting your family. So I always suggest that when people ask my opinion, you know, go for the loan. You can make payments. You can do double payments once you start doing really well, you know, and get that balance down to zero. But that is something that is up to each individual, and we could help them make that decision, whatever's best for them and their family.
Yeah, the SBA has an interesting statistic that says 80% of new businesses fail in the first 5 years. But if somebody buys an existing business, 80% of those succeed. Um, Franchising, if you buy an existing franchise, obviously you're buying a fully up and running business, but buying into a franchise, maybe a hybrid of starting a new business versus also buying one that already exists. At least the model already exists. It might not just exist in your zip code.
That's right.
So, what kind of advantages um, does a veteran have when they buy into a franchise? They might be starting it from new in that zip code, but yet the whole concept and the whole concept of the business is not new.
Right. So we've already laid down the tracks, so we make it easier for you. I read somewhere once that it was interesting. They said that franchising was the new American dream. It's not the house and the picket fence anymore. It's franchising. It's owning your own business. And I thought that kind of resonated with me. And I agree with that. But what really makes the big difference is I said it earlier in the podcast, we hand you the business in a box, right? We give you all of the tools to make it successful. We've done the research. We've not only done the research, but proven what works and what doesn't. So a lot of people say, let's throw something on a wall and see what sticks. A lot of people do that. That's not the approach that we take. We know what works and what doesn't, and what's going to make your phone ring. And I think that is really what pushes people over the edge to say, okay, let's give this a try, because we can make you successful almost right away.
Now, one of your current job responsibilities is identifying and recruiting potential candidates. Tell us a little bit about that. Like, what kind of things are you looking for in somebody when you're screening people? Because you probably don't accept everybody, right?
We do not. So there was a time where we did. We have crossed that line. Now we're looking for candidates who will support the JDog name.
Mhm.
So, you have to pass a background test, or I'm sorry, a background check. You can't be a felon. You have to be honorably discharged, and, you have to want to do this. So as the COO, I can tell you that what makes me cringe is when people come across and they think that they're going to be spending more time at home with their family because they're starting a business. That's not the case at all.
They say that. Why do you want to start your own business? Well, I'd like to spend more time with my family.
Oh, I've heard that dozens
There's a blind spot.
of times, right? It's not going to happen. Let's get you there, right? It's going to take a couple of years. I don't want you to be driving in the truck much more than 6 months, after you've started. We grow this thing and we'll get you there, but it's not going to be right away.
Right.
So that's a serious blind spot for sure.
Well, at least they're, of course, a lot of veterans may time at home might be, if I'm in the same zip code all day long, then I'm considered a home. I'm not overseas. I'm still home, but yeah.
Yeah. If I call you, at noon on a Tuesday and you're at home playing Modern Warfare, I'm going to have a big problem. I'll make a visit.
Yeah, that's a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, can you a brand new? Can you go over a couple of examples, like what would be to expected as far as work hours and things like that? If you're a brand new franchisee on the JDog junk removal and or the carpet cleaning, how's that typically going to unfold in the first few weeks, first few months?
First few weeks and first few months, your phone is always going to be on you, right? So you are doing digital marketing, you're doing door hangers, you're doing lawn signs, you're doing all the things that we train you to do, and your phone is going to start to ring. Now, if it's 9 o'clock on a Friday night, are you going to pick it up? Yeah, you're going to pick it up, right? So, what people do, and think about you, when you're looking for a service and you dial a number and they don't pick up, you're going to go to the next one on Google, right? I tell them, pick up the phone. If it's 2 o'clock in the morning, that's a little unreasonable. Of course, don't pick up the phone, but if you're sitting there and you can, absolutely. So, I want you to work Monday through Friday and Saturdays. in the beginning. Sundays, okay, take off. Or maybe if a client really needs a service on a Sunday, you can schedule that, right? So just assume that you're going to be working 6 days a week.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, JDog is branded as a veteran organization, military community organization. How advantageous to that is that to the franchisee? Like, do you have any stories or examples from customers, that kind of thing? Like, I hired them because I knew they were veterans, or how beneficial is that? How often does it come up?
All the time, all the time. So we get letters and postcards here in the office quite consistently, actually,
Mm.
thanking us for, sending this veteran into their home. And, on a whole, what they're talking about is how it makes them feel comfortable. They don't like unknown people coming into their house. And even though we may be strangers, there's a comfort factor that we're military veterans
Mm-hmm.
to their home. And I've I can't even explain the emotion properly that happens. For instance, you've cleaned a house, whether it be cleaned it out of junk or cleaned their carpets.
Mm-hmm.
The customers hug you and thank you for your service and can't wait to tell their friends about you and give you hugs. And you're on the Christmas card list for the rest of your life. Like, they really get behind this brand, and I've never seen anything like it. It is such a wonderful feeling, and it makes you want to do it more and more.
Yeah, that's awesome. And if you are somebody from the military community looking to do something, especially a franchise, that's really something powerful to consider. Like, you can leverage. You might think, well, I was only in for 4 years and I don't have a degree, or I didn't get a technical skill or whatever. But hey, you did something for 4 or 8 or 20 years. You can leverage that in a JDog franchise, because it's labeled. It says right on the side of the truck, veteran owned, right?
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Absolutely.
In all the marketing and everything.
Yeah. So many people are so hesitant to even bring that up. They feel that they're taking advantage, and
Mm-hmm.
we can prove to them that is not the case. They want to know that you're a veteran. They want to know that you served their country, and they want to be able to thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, yeah. A lot of, we learned in the military, self-promotion is not very comfortable to us. We learned that in the military. It's born and bred into us from day one. But when you get out, a little bit of that's okay if it's done properly. And especially when you're dealing with people who want to support the veteran community.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So we're getting close to the end of our time here. If somebody's interested in looking up JDog franchise opportunity, where would they find you?
I would visit jdogbrands.com, and you can read about both businesses and franchising.
Awesome. And what does that courtship process look like? And how long does it typically take from beginning to end before somebody's actually up and running?
Well, it can happen very, very quickly, or it can be extended. It really is up to the person. But
Mhm.
you would call in here, you would have an interview with Terry Corkery, who was our vice president of sales, and he would vet you a little bit. Then you would come in, you would fly to Berwyn, Pennsylvania, which is just outside of Philadelphia, and you would attend a discovery day. So we will take you out to dinner, and the next day you'll spend the whole day in the office meeting with all of the individual departments, and we tell you, this is what we would expect of you, this is what you can expect of us, and we basically show them everything that they would do.
Mhm.
They can go home and dwell on it and think about it and decide what's best for their family. And if all's a go, they sign a franchise agreement. They're in the very next training class, and when they leave here, they can open up their business. So it can happen like in a month and a half's time.
Awesome. How long is a typical training class?
It is a full 5 days for both businesses.
Okay. And then we were talking about this a little earlier, but I'm just kind of curious from a practical standpoint, like, how often does somebody get their franchise, they get their phone number, their business card, and they got their truck or van? How often are they getting a phone call, like, in the first couple of days? And how cool is that?
Well, I will give you today's news. So just today, we had Fernando Garcia. He is a brand new carpet cleaning owner in Jacksonville Beach, Florida.
Awesome.
His business opened today. He attended training.
Yeah.
His opened today. He just called me this morning. They just finished their first job.
That's awesome. So
Right?
on day one, he gets called and finishes the job all on the same day.
Yes. And I mean, we've had countless times where, we're setting up Facebook profiles in training and customers find it so quickly and they're already booking jobs. The people are still here in Pennsylvania training. So it's just a wonderful thing.
That's awesome. That's
It's
great.
exciting.
All right. Well, hey, Dana, can't finish it on a better note than that. Did you have anything else specifically you wanted to mention if we haven't covered anything?
Well, I just wanted to mention something that's really important to us, which is our mission. So yes, we want to put as many veterans and veteran family members into business as we possibly can to get the JDog name throughout the country, but we're doing it for a reason. And that reason is to hire veterans in everybody's community, giving a hand up to those who need it. So our true mission is to get the veteran unemployment rate down under 1% across the country. And we'll get there.
Great mission for business.
Absolutely.
Right, Dana. Okay. Thanks for sharing your entrepreneurial success story and Jerry Flanagan and everything else. We look forward to the future success of JDog Brands.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
You bet. All right. We're out.